back to the football rundown. We're here today to talk about Stockport County. Just a little bit of a follow-up conversation, really, given the one that we did on Monday, talking about the retain list and the disappointment, I suppose, that surrounded Paddy Madden's departure from Stockport County. Obviously, still disappointed even now, 3 or 4 days on from it. Still hard to believe it will be going into the League One season without that experience up front, without that experience just generally throughout the dressing room, and obviously losing the captain and leader is always going to be tough, no matter how old they are. So it's massively disappointing still, even 3 or 4 days on. Even more disappointing to hear that he's already looks like he's going to secure a new football club. Looks like he'll be signing for Chesterfield, who've just been promoted from the National League to League Two. So looks like he'll be stepping back into League Two next season. So good luck to Paddy Madden on that. But yeah, still very disappointed that we won't have him next season. Hopefully Stockport County will have something to come back with in terms of a striker being signed in the summer. There's obviously a lot of conversation about Louie Barry. We'll talk about that in a second. Rydel has obviously signed a new 3-year deal this week as well, which is a bit of a surprise for me, given the fact that his contract was set to expire this summer. I thought they may well just let him move on, given the fact that he'd been out injured for 8, 9, 10 months. It was always going to be a struggle for him to get back into this side as well, in my opinion. So surprised that he's been given a new deal. Surprised that he's been given such a long deal, really. 3 years is quite a long time. And so obviously they're quite confident he'll be able to get himself back in the side. Why else are you giving a 3-year deal out? Obviously, Cody Johnson's signed a new deal as well. He's got a year extension, so it's an extra year, I suppose, an opportunity to try and force his way into the Stockport County side as well. Can't see it happening too much, to be honest with you, but good luck to him. Obviously, he's got that opportunity now with a year extension to try and get himself into side. Look, you never know what can happen in football. So, and also we've already seen the quality of Cody Johnson, particularly when I was at the game in the Carabao Cup, Sheffield Wednesday away. Thought he was brilliant in that game as well, and I'm sure other people have seen him play well as well. So maybe he's got an opportunity, an outside chance of getting into Stockport County's side this season, and that year extension does give him the opportunity to. So be interesting to see how County try and integrate him into the squad. But for me personally, if he goes back out on loan again, I don't see his contract being extended beyond next summer. But as I say, he's extended his contract. Ryan Rydell's extended his contract. Surprised me, so I want to get people's thoughts on that. I suppose we've got to talk about the big news now, which is, of course, Louie Barry, where there's been a lot of articles written, a lot of reports over the last 24 hours. How trustworthy they are, I'm not too sure. But a lot of people saying that Stockport County in conversation with Aston Villa over a permanent transfer of Louie Barry to come to Edgeley Park. And now a lot of people would say that's music to their ears. I am actually a little bit concerned with this, because if Stockport County are looking at signing Louie Barry on a permanent deal from Aston Villa, I'm not too sure how we're going to manage this in terms of the cost of the transfer fee, because Aston Villa signed him for 800,000 from Barcelona a few years ago. They're not going to want to sign for anything less than that. And can Stockport County really afford to spend around £1 million on one player when they're only in League One? And we've still got loads more positions to try and obviously cover in this summer's transfer budget. So the article's from Team Talk, and it says Aston Villa transfer talks begin as ambitious club looks to seal deal for 20-year-old talent. Obviously speaks about the fact that Stockport County had him on loan last season, and how they're interested in discussing a deal with Aston Villa to try and bring him in on a permanent basis. And like I've said, like I've already said, a permanent deal, it's going to be too costly in my opinion to manage. Considering the fact we've got to replace Crowsdale, Paddy Madden, as well as other positions as well, can we really afford to be spending upwards to £1 million this summer? I'm not too sure. And a lot of people say, well, if you bring in Louie Barry, that's a replacement for Paddy Madden. I don't think so. We started last season with both of them players. You can't go into a League One season, our first League One season in a very, very long time. You can't go into that and just lose Paddy Madden's goals, 2021 goals this season, and bring Louie Barry in as the replacement. Granted, he looks like a fantastic talent. 9 or 10 goals in the first few months of his season at Stockport County before that horrific injury. But I think we need more experience up top as well. So I think bring in Louie Barry by all means if you can do it. But we've also got to bring in other players as well, and we do need an experienced striker to help him almost settle back into this county team next season. A bit like what my worry was in terms of Louie Barry coming back from injury. I was worried that we were going to put too much pressure and expectation on him to come in and get the goals to try and get us promoted. Luckily, that wasn't the case, because Paddy Madden stepped up to the plate, because that experienced player in the dressing room, that experienced player on the pitch, stepped up when it mattered most. It took the pressure off Louie Barry's return and meant that Louie Barry could try and ease his way back in, try and get his fitness back up. Imagine if we didn't have Paddy Madden, in the last few weeks of last season when he stepped up and got them important goals. A lot more pressure would have been on Louie Barry to come in and hit the ground running again. So I think it's really important. Like I said, by all means, bring Louie Barry back in if it's possible. But we do need a more experienced striker alongside him. And what I would say, Paddy Madden moving on is obviously not good news for us. And there are alternative options. We know that Notts County obviously didn't make it up this season to League One. Macaulay Langstaff's an option potentially for Stockport County. Scored a lot of goals last season in League Two. Matt Smith's another one who's just been released or had his contract expired with Salford. He's an option as well. Again, 34 years of age. So, but he knows how to find he knows how to find the back of the net. Would people be interested in looking at someone like Langstaff or Matt Smith as an option alongside bringing in Louie Barry? Because for me personally, you're bringing in a 20-year-old Louie Barry. You do need that experience around him as well, because as good of a talent he looks, you need them experienced heads to almost just take the pressure off him. And there's no doubt about it. If Stockport County managed to bring Louie Barry back in this season, there will be a lot of expectation, rightly or wrongly. So it's important that you have the right people around him to almost take the pressure off. I mean, if you're Stockport County really going into this summer, you know that obviously you've got to spend that money wisely. You know that you've got to strengthen pretty much across the whole squad as well. Can you really be spending that kind of money? Would most people prefer another year loan deal with the option to buy, or would you go straight in permanent, try and buy him now? Because, and I'm not doubting him here, but I would make a point. He played very well in the first 2 months, but then has been injured and then struggled when he came back in terms of fitness. I'm a little bit worried that we spend so much money on a player that really is, he's had a very good patch. He's had a very good purple patch. No doubt about it. He's probably got the ability and the talent as well, but he hasn't really done very well elsewhere on his loan deals previously. That would be a warning sign for me to go in and spend 1 million on him straight away. We saw how good Odin Bailey was on that loan deal initially from Salford, then signs on a permanent, seems to struggle a little bit and doesn't really look like the same player. So that would be a worry for me, to be honest. In terms of Louie Barry, bring him in, but I'd rather a loan deal with the option to buy if that's an option. I can see that a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me on this, because a lot of people get caught up in the excitement of Louie Barry's return to Stockport County. I understand that, but I just think we've got to take a step back and look at it and go, this is a young player who had a very good first few months in the side, but was playing very well as well, and continued to play okay for a few games even after his injury. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm obviously not saying that. He's a brilliant player. I'm excited. I love watching him play, but I would be wary about bringing him in and not having them experienced players around him. So Paddy Madden's moved on. We've got to replace that kind of figure in the dressing room. That's not going to come easy, but it's something we've got to do. Like I say, I don't think that's a popular opinion by me, to be honest, but it is my opinion, and I think that we're all entitled to one. So let me know your opinions in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video, of course. Subscribe if you are new as well. And as always, thanks for watching.